With the Dread Elves defeated, Sekaloth claimed their largest ship and set sail for the Bronze Isle. Upon landing, the Quaddle saw an ancient temple in the style of lost Neptesh. Sekaloth could nearly see the radiating power from the structure. Surely, this place was his destiny. So drawn to the structure, the Saurians were completely caught unaware when the undead forces burst from the ground. Sekaloth knew that these were the final threats standing between him and what he came for, so he ordered the attack. But he did not see the look of fatigue on the faces of his troops. Still, ever loyal, they sought to follow the commands of their Quaddle. All right, welcome guys to the final game from the Southern Assault GT. Game 5, I have found myself crawling back to this point. It started here, and so it will end here on table 5. I am up against Undying Dynasties. And this army, it looks absolutely amazing. This one, best painted, several other awards. I mean, this guy his army is beautiful, great player, and rough game. I mean, absolutely spot on, top tier player, and you know how the last game is after these tournaments. You're tired, and I'm gonna give it my all, but I'm back here fighting tooth and nail, so we'll see how it goes. So starting deployment, he has 2 5-man units of the skeletal scout, I believe is what they're called. Basically chaff. Back there in the back, he has 3 great vultures, the flying dread sphinx, and a unit of 6 desert chariots with his king, who is in the big chariot with dragon scale helm, talisman of greater shielding, sword of strength, and the upgrade to give them +1 strength on the charge. Then over here he's got his hierarch, 3 spells from evocation, wizard master, spout of rebirth, and the only person I played in the whole tournament that brought a dispel scroll. Next to that is the tomb cataphracts, 4 of those guys, and behind them you can see there are 2 of the chariots. He also has 3 sand stalkers that are going to be ambushing. All right. Clear the airtime. I deployed stupidly in this game. I was thinking kind of with their slow speed. He dropped everything kind of on one side. I decided to do it on the other, figuring that we would kind of meet in the middle, and kind of go from there. Problem is I bunched up way too much to give myself that kind of maneuverability. So I was kind of facing a rough uphill run here. But you can see I've got all my skinks kind of piled there behind the hill, along with my Taurosaur and a Spearback. General's unit with the Temple. Sorry this is super blurry, but everything else is laid out here. You got Stygia, the Caimans, the Saurus, and on the far side, the other Spearback. Just absolutely backwards. And here's a better picture that's not all blurry as crazy to show where they are. But yeah, it's bad deployment. Like, I'll just say straight out bad deployment. UD dropped first, so he gets to go, and he doesn't really have anything to shoot, so he's pushing heavy forward. Not really committing his chaff yet, because he doesn't see where it needs to go, but everything's coming for me. And then on top of that, he manages to squeak off an 18-inch magic move on the cataphracts. And then the freaking catapult start. Um, yeah, he drops a 6x6, so hits the whole unit, kills off a rank and a half, looks like. Um, Here's just a side complaint for me personally. Something that has that big an area should not be immune to penalties from shooting. Yeah, you can say, oh, they only hit on 5, but he's got a character over there that's giving him a bonus to the BS. So they're hitting on 4s from across the freaking table, no matter the cover, no matter anything else. And he's going to rain death on me with those things the whole game. Not really anything against my opponent, just personal gripe time over. um, so my turn 1, I'm just going to push forward. I'll be honest, I'm really tired at this point. Um, it's been a long weekend, and I'm just not playing well. I really am afraid of those chariots, but I'm thinking, oh, he's blocked up with the Sphinx, not remembering for some reason that the Sphinx can fly, so he can charge over it if I give him options. So pushing up here is what I need to do, but the manner in which I did it is not smart. And over here I am, and it's just I'm bringing all of these heavy units against 2 5-man chaff units. Just bad deployment. I pop Swarm of Insects, decide to go on the Chariots because they've only got a 5-up armor save. I figure I go ahead and start killing them, and maybe that'll work. Do some poison, and I get 1 or 2 wounds off on the Sphinx. And in comes the Cataphracts. Take a minute just to appreciate how awesome these models look. Because that was the one cool thing about this game is if I'm going to get completely outplayed like I'm a noob, at least I'm having it done by a beautiful army. And it really did. I mean, I had to take some time just to appreciate what was beating my face in. Because it's amazing. But he charges in the flank of these guys. I really should have fled here, and I didn't. I kind of took a chance that he would miss me. He didn't, gets in, and this is where things start. Because now he's just going to put the pressure on this side, which means I've got no maneuverability on this flank at all. He does try to charge in his Sphinx into my spearback and fails to charge, so he just kind of goes up a little bit. And then everything else comes to hug in. You can see he's starting to chaff me with the horses to prevent me from getting out. He's wrapping up a beautiful box and throwing my tied up ass inside it. So, and it's interesting. I found this particular player was easily the most technical player that I played the whole time. I would say Shannon is excellent. The ogre player, first one as well, but I don't think he worried about every precise bit of movement as much as this particular player did. And that was very impressive to watch, kind of what he was doing to chaff me. And he played it perfectly. And I don't usually play against those kind of folks. So it was just, I mean, he was stymieing me pretty much where he needed to and putting the pressure in where he needed. And as you can see, I did try and kill one of these units with my shooting last time. I didn't take a picture of it, but I couldn't do it. So here he comes, chaffing me in again. So the only thing that can really move is the Caimans. And because of how he put things, I can't get around him. So all I can charge with everything is these skeletons, which are worth basically no points. And then what little work I had done was undone by an Evocations of Souls within 6 inches, healed up the chariot I killed, and healed up the Sphinx, at least 1 wound off of him. So basically what little gains I had made last turn have been completely undone. Then he does some shooting, I think, and pops off a wound on the spearback. Then some more shooting, maybe from the chariots, kills him. He drops another rock, takes off another rank or so of my Saurus warriors. And of course, the skinks die, and the Taurosaur catches the cataphracts in the flank. So we go to my turn 2, realizing that my opponent has left me no choice. I go ahead and start clearing out this chaff by throwing everything I've got into it. I mainly charged my generals unit there into that so that when they die, I'll get a swift reform and can turn and face the cataphracts that are coming. Over here, I did the same thing. My thought actually here is maybe because he's worried about killing my stuff, I can destroy these guys and then take the spear back and run them way around and start trying to take out those catapults. I'm thinking of doing the same thing with the skinks on the other side and just trying to get away from him and go do that. So as you see here, these guys start running like hell. Big problem is they've got to get through that gauntlet of archers, and I don't think it's going to happen, but this is my best chance to get some points. Over here, we crush the chaff, obviously, and I turn so that there's nothing in the flank of my general's unit. Over here, we crush the chaff, obviously, and the spearback starts his overrun. Over here, I don't do anything. Maybe I do. Okay, yeah, I see the die there. It looks like I did 2 wounds to the cataphracts and took 2 in return. I'm stubborn and not going anywhere, so that's at least the one thing I've got here is that stubborn Taurosaur is going to hold me up and help me out here. But then turn 3 comes, and it's a bad day. The Caimans are just going to eat it to all those impact hits, and that Sphinx is going to just rock my face, but it's going to take a while. The big problem is once those Caimans die, we're thinking there's going to be an overrun into the flank of my general's unit, and at the rate, I'll probably be done by turn 4 is what I'm thinking here. And then to make matters worse, boom! As if scripted, his ambushers from under the sand come out right where they needed to be and get pushed into another perfect flanking position, so I can't get around them to help out anybody here. Then he puts the birds in the back and reforms so that he can start pelting the hell out of my skinks. I think he actually readjusted these guys, which I was okay with. But yeah, so that's where he decided to put them. Shooting, yeah, boom. Whole rank's gone. They panic and run. Shooting, there's just more. I don't remember if this is from the ambushers or from the catapults, but my Saurus are dying faster than I can deal with. And, oh, that must be from the catapult. So, yeah. So, the first guy's kill, and then the catapult kill. So, I've got I've got 2 ranks because they go by 6. But, yeah, this unit is basically combat ineffective now. And this goes crazy. I do kill one of the cataphracts and take 2 more wounds on the Taurosaur. Then the Caimans get killed here, and we actually had to call in some rules issues because as we looked at it, when he goes to clip and close the door, he actually can't close the door without clipping the Stygie. And we were kind of unsure of how that would work out, if he would go on to Stygie or whatever. So we called over a rules judge, and the rules judge just said he can't overrun. So he basically is stuck there, and that means my general's unit might live for another moment or 2 longer. My turn 3, I decide to go ahead and just put some pain in. I'm going to go after those stalker guys, the ambushers. I decide to go ahead and send Stygie into the general's unit, thinking maybe I can get lucky with some poison spit and do some damage and see what happens. My skinks decide that they've done enough this tournament, and with a roll of 10, run off the board. I don't get anything in magic. He stops me, so I kill the ambushers and turn to face. You can see I've run my spear back, he's heading straight for one of those catapults. And I think that's pretty much it at this point. Torosaur finally dies. The Stygiosaur dies. Chariot's overrun into the general's unit, which gets chewed up in that combat afterwards. UD4 makes a sandwich of my general's unit, and at this point it's all over but the crying. My deployment here was awful, and I'm paying for it bad. I can't, like, there's just nothing I can do, which is a real shame. This is actually the only game I played at the tournament where I felt like I was just completely shut out. Even against the Ogres first round, I at least felt like I was fighting back, even if it didn't accomplish much. But here, it doesn't seem like anything I've done's accomplished anything, and it's a little frustrating. But I'm still trying to enjoy myself. Over here, he's reforming. He's going to try and take out my spearback before I can get into stuff over there. He evocations of souls, so he's healed everything back up. He killed all of the temple guard, like, early on. And so it's just the Quaddle. And he's throwing wounds and throwing wounds and throwing wounds. And I probably threw 7, 8 maybe, 4-up ward saves. And then finally the Sphinx got involved, and that was it. My luck ran out, and down went Sekaloth. So my turn 4, I keep running for the, or I move up for the catapult. I'm trying to shoot some. I killed the birds last turn. I charged into them. Or this turn, yeah, I charge into them. Reform here, but I'm going to eat all those chariots in the face, so there's not really anything that those guys are going to accomplish. And that's exactly what happens. UD turn 4. I take it in the face. Then everybody else is trying to chase that one spearback. And I die to impact hits. And they overrun. My turn 5, I charge the flank of the... Well, it doesn't really have a flank. It's supposed to be on a round base now, I guess. But I charge the catapult and get in. And then we exchange wounds 1 for 1, so I can't do anything to him. I reform, slide down a little bit so that he doesn't have a good charge on me. UD turn 5, he can't get into me. We do the fight. I finally kill the catapult. And that's pretty much where we call it. Undying Dynasties 20-0. Great opponent. Nothing I would obviously ever complain about, but it is what it is. I played a bad game, and at this level of play, my opponent was excellent. I mean, he was absolutely an amazing player, and he was completely well within his rights to punish every stupid thing I did this game. And boy, howdy, did he do exactly that. So it was definitely a learning experience. I'll say that. I'd like to say it was an enjoyable game, but I don't know that I can go so far. But it was certainly a learning experience. I've kind of gone over these pictures several times and realized kind of what I had done wrong. And hopefully I will not repeat this kind of issues before. I bunched myself up. I did not deploy in response to my opponent very well. And he just flat out played me. This actually projected my opponent to place third in the whole tournament, so I wish him the best. He certainly earned it, and I appreciate kind of giving me a different gaming experience from the rest of the games we played. Like I said, he was a very technical player. It was really down to millimeters and being precise in his movement. And it was really awesome to see that. Like I said, I don't usually play with folks that are like that, so um, I think I definitely picked up a few pointers there. Um, but it was a good run. And after we get to the narrative part, I have kind of one last thing where we'll talk a little bit about um, kind of my thoughts about the whole tournament. Never before in his millennium-long life had Sekaloth truly faced death, but he saw it reflected in the eyes of the undead that surrounded him. He knew that his mission had failed, and with that failure, perhaps the world itself would be drowned beneath Yema's wrath. Just as the last of the ancient blades sought his flesh, Sekaloth unleashed his magic and teleported himself back to the temple, abandoning the rest of his loyal troops to their fate. Val-Sirach was waiting in the temple when he returned.
Master, you have returned. Did the portal lead you to that which you needed?
Yes, the Coatl answered.
What was it, Master?
Humility, he responded with a sigh. Send word to the other forces opposed to Kervion. Tell them we must hold council. Tell them that only together can we face the threat that is to come. And with that, Sekaloth left the room, leaving the gathered skink priests standing in stunned silence. All right, so great tournament. I wanted to I'm showing a picture here of the chariot race that happened Friday night to just kind of talk a little bit about my thoughts on the tournament in general. Just briefly, I had a great time. It was very well put together. There was a lot of prize support, a lot of things that I liked. Once Bitten, the tournament organizer, had several people in the community paint models for the Best in Race Awards, so that was cool. And it was just neat. I was actually asked to paint the ones for the Dwarven Holds and the Infernal Dwarves. And so it made me very much feel kind of like a part of things, which was a lot of fun. It was a smaller tournament than I expected. Final turnout, I think, was 27, 28. But I don't mind. I kind of liked it. It was a lot of fun. I know there was a little bit of disappointment but I thought it was a group of great guys. There was a pretty kind of wide berth of different skill levels, which was awesome. I got to play a lot of different folks because I kind of yo-yoed all over the tables. So that was a lot of fun. At the end of things, I ended up winning 3 games, losing 2. Unfortunately, the 2 that I lost were absolutely soul-crushing. But 20 nils are hard to swallow. Paint was actually done separately. And I was actually rated as a number 2, which was like a silver level paint job. So I thought that was pretty cool because for me, I felt like that kind of is advancing me. Like I'm doing better than I had before. So to have that recognized was really cool, especially because the paint judges were actually all professional painters. So I was really happy to see that. That made me feel good. And so at the end of everything, I placed 16, which is pretty solid. It was way better than I did at Brawlers, so that was pretty awesome, both in terms of number of games won and final placing. So I was very happy. It was a good showing for me and the Saurians, I think. And I got to meet a lot of people who were fans of the channel, people I hadn't met before. Um, it really would have been nice to have had the other two Fluff Masters with me. But I think not having brought friends with me kind of forced me to meet and mingle with other folks in different clubs. So that was kind of a fun experience too. Um, what you see here in this picture, I did participate in the chariot race. As you see, I bring the pain train. This is actually as far as I got in the chariot race. What you can see where the green ends there, that's the starting line. I had fun. The big problem is they allowed anything that was classified as a chariot. And as you can see, for most everybody, that meant steam tank. So there's what, three Empire steam tanks and an Infernal Dwarf steam tank. And then there were 2 Ogre Cannon chariots, 1 Black Coach, me, and 1 of the Elf chariots, I think. Oh, and 1 Goblin chariot, Goblin Wolf chariot. So really, all things considered, not a lot of variation. I certainly think if this event were to be run again, should be done without compulsory move chariots. It kind of defeated the purpose. It turned it from less of a chariot race to a demolition derby. I do have to say, though, proudly, I was not killed by any other chariot. I was killed by the most villainous thing on the board, that church that you see me next to. I got charged, fled, ran through the church, and failed 4 dangerous terrain tests and died. So didn't do great there. So I didn't take a whole lot of pictures, but this is a pretty good one because it's a good picture of the pain train. And literally seconds before I ramped off of the roof of the damn thing, like I was the General Lee and exploded. But all in all, it was a great tournament. I had a lot of fun. Met a lot of cool people. Everybody I played were great players. And I had a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to doing it again. I think we're going to try and get all of the Fluff Masters to go down for Grail Quest in December. That's kind of the aim. So I think that's the next tournament I'm going to be gearing up for. I hope you guys liked this, what I did this time in terms of the battle reports. If you liked the kind of weaving of the narrative into the games I played, let me know. I may end up doing it again for Grail Quest. We'll just kind of see. I certainly enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed doing the battle reports, and I enjoyed playing. So thank you. I want to say a heartfelt thank you to all my opponents. I had a great weekend, and a lot of that is due to you guys. It was awesome to be able to play 5 games and not have any issues. I mean, even in the games where I was getting just beaten silly, my opponents were good people. We had a great time, and we enjoyed the games, and I really can't ask for more than that. So, also, big thank you to Once Bitten for putting this whole thing on. Awesome tournament, man. I certainly appreciate it, and just want to say a very heartfelt thank you for that. But if you guys like this one, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and go to my Patreon, which will be linked down below. Any donations are helpful to getting me to the next tournaments and helping me make videos and content for you that you'd enjoy. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this run in the Southern Assault 2017, possibly the final assault from what I hear, but we'll see. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Any comments, certainly leave them down below, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.